Hey, today we are going to do a scribble challenge. A scribble challenge is when you scribble on a piece of paper, but because we are middle school and high school kids, we're going to take this a little bit further and we're going to do a whole nother step after this. So, the first thing you need to do is pick a spot to start and do some wavy, scribbly things, lines that connect and go back over each other, and then end in the same spot where they start. So this one's mine. Here's my scribble across my paper. Now, we are art students and we know how to make patterns and designs because you have learned in elementary school and you have learned again with Mrs. Comstock. So, from this point, every single one of these little itty bitty spots that create a shape is an enclosed line, okay? You are going to do a different pattern in. So, for example, my little tiny circle right here could be full of little tiny circles. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of regretting making them so small, but in the end, it's gonna look really, really good. Those of you who have done optical art with me, so you've created optical illusions, you can do your optical illusions inside each one of these shapes. You could create the ones that look like, okay, I'm not going to finish that, but I just want you to see. All right, teeny tiny little circles all in the shape. I would fill in the rest of it. Those of you who have done op art with me, remember how we have done like the blobs or the zigzag lines and stuff. So maybe this one, because these are circles in here, I want to do something more geometric on this big area right here. Maybe I'm going to put my zigzag lines in. So if you want your lines to appear like they're getting further away from each other, you draw them further away. Had to think about that line for a minute. And if you want your lines to look like they're getting closer together, you should start putting them closer together. This is a really good way to practice all those optical illusions too. They kind of change in shape a little bit as they get closer and closer to the end over here. Okay, so I want to just finish this up on this side because I started kind of in the middle. It's important to finish up what you start. Okay, so now I have all of these little zigzaggy lines right here. Maybe I'm going to do some, let's see, what could we do over here? I was thinking like, ooh, okay, so we have this big space right here, this big thing. I want to make it look like holes in the fence. So we've done this before in most of my drawing classes where you start with a bunch of squares and you kind of like, they can line up or they don't have to, it's up to you. they could be all over the place. I like to make mine line up because then it kind of looks like a fence hole, or it might even look like a fly swatter if you have them all lined up just right. Okay, so you have a bunch of squares, and I would fill in all of this area right here, okay? Each square, we want to look like it's three-dimensional. So you go back in on the bottom corner on each one and you make a diagonal line. So that way they all match. All in the same spot on every single square. And then from this point, you're going to add a vertical line that connects that square and then a horizontal line. So that creates that three-dimensional illusion that you have like a hole right here in your paper. Okay, so we have this. Now to go a little bit further with this, if you wanted to really make it look more three-dimensional, when you shade this in, you just fill in this part a darker color than the rest. So that way it looks like you have a hole in here. Make sure you're filling in that square really good. So that way it's like the darkest piece on your spot. Okay, so we have this. That would be my pattern that would go all the way through in this area. If I wanted to do another different sort of pattern, I was thinking like this little teardrop looking thing. I was going to fill that in. I'm going to make blobs in it because we've done blobs before. So you make these curvy lines, and all of my blobs are going to end right here. I'm going to do them a little differently than just cutting them in half. So like this. So I have like these little lines right here. From this point, I'm going to make curved lines that connect. So I have like a blob, and then I would make, I'm going to make another one that curves right up next to it. These ones are really cool because you can always color them in and make them all different, or make them with the same pattern and watch how it curves across your paper as you do it. It's always exciting. So we're creating patterns. So I have my blobs in this section now. In this little tiny circle spot right here, I'm just going to do horizontal lines that get really, really close together, and then start spacing themselves apart so it looks like they're all going into like this one little section. And then I'm going to add some more different stuff. Now, you don't have to do the same ones as me. You can do your own. Just fill in with all these different textures. Now, if you want to go any further with this, you can color them in. You'd be adding even more excitement to your drawing and your piece. So you could fill in the rest of everything that you're working on. So I started filling in some more of those little circles. And right in here, let me see, what is another really good optical illusion that we could do together, or a nice little pattern? Ooh, you know what I like? I like to do those mandala patterns that you can just grow them out with. So you start with, I like to start them in a corner, and I start them with like a little curve, like a circle shape, because they're in a radial design because they're working from a round object. And I like to make patterns and shapes that kind of go with them. It's almost like decorating an Easter egg when you think about it. So I do different shapes add a pattern in between them, and they just kind of grow and span out as you do this. So it's really cool. And then when you go back in to decorate them, you can color them up and make them super crazy. So little things like this are going to add all this dimension and creativity to your artwork. Let me see. I'm just going to keep doing a bunch of different designs, and then you can go back in and make your own designs, or you can come up with your own designs if you want to. It is up to you. So I have some more little things right here. Maybe I'm going to do a spiral on this one because I want it to look like it is one of those just never-ending spots. Different interesting things. So if I'm going to have my squares that are coming down right over here in this big area, I'm going to add them in really quick so that I know where they're going to be. So what will you put on yours? Make it totally different than mine. You can copy mine if you'd like, if you're looking for ideas. Just be creative. That's the whole point of this. To give yourself a moment to relax, watch a movie, and just draw. Just give yourself a break for the day. We're all getting stressed out, being stuck inside, working so hard, being away from our friends and our family. It tolls on people. So just enjoy yourself. Take a few minutes for yourself today and just draw. The more you do and the more time you have for yourself, even if it's just something like a little scribble nonsense drawing like this, it's going to make you feel better in the end. You'll have a little bit more relaxation feeling going on, and you'll have a really cool little piece of artwork. And then send me a picture. I would love to see what you're making. And I'm always adding points to everything that you need. So please make sure that you are drawing and creating and sending me stuff. Even if you don't need it for a grade, send it to me. I want to see everything you're making, even if it's not something that I'm posting here on a video for like a challenge or a project or anything. I want to see what you guys are doing. I miss you and I love seeing your artwork and everything that you guys make. All right. See you later.